Alright. So, it's been a long weekend. Energies have been super intense, right? I don't know about y'all. I have been super snappy. I have other fun reasons for that. But I keep getting asked this one question. I keep getting it asked over and over and over again. I have a really hard time explaining it to people. So, here I am explaining it to you. Trying to. Anyway, best as I can to my abilities. Now I know what freaking Ray feels like. My personal perspective on the twin flames. My initial perspective on it was it is a toxic subculture, distorting the meaning of soulmates and creating a submissive culture, mostly oppressing women who are codependent on relationships with men in order to survive, and encouraging them to to harass their counterparts. Like, there's no way around it. They actually they encourage these people to stay attached to another person to such a toxic level that these people are actually like they're going to jail, guys. Like, when I went to the psych ward last year for the Chantix shit, the starseeds that I met in there, they had messiah complexes, but their message wasn't toxic. Some of these twin flame messiahs, stay away from anybody who calls themselves a messiah, y'all. I mean, try to explain my personal journey. Is Rob my twin? I don't know. We spent all day just cramming two Aries, you know. I'd say something, he'd pop off. He'd say something, I'd pop off. We just did it all day. Bam, bam, bam. Finally, we leveled out by the evening. We definitely are psychically linked. And we definitely mirror each other. Whatever energy. So when it's good, it's really, really good. But when we get real fired up, he is real fiery over here. I've told y'all, Rob's got more fire signs than I do. I want to be able to give you guys answers. I do. I feel weird, though, even talking about it, especially on a video. Because it is a deeply personal thing. And from the best of my ability, what I have been able to put together is my twin flame isn't one person. Can't possibly be one person. My very first boyfriend, my very first lover, we dated for about 9 months in the 11th grade. And our friends convinced him to break up with me. And when they were explaining to me why I should accept the breakup, they told me that we were like E.T. and Elliot. And when one of us got sick, the other one would get sick. And when one of us was sad, the other one was sad. And we were just too connected, and that wasn't good. And we should break up and take space. Which I thought was hysterical, because we had planned on going to different colleges and everything else. And one of my biggest role models in my life is my Uncle Tony and my Aunt Karen. And they were high school sweethearts. And they broke up after high school. And they each went off to do their own colleges and their own careers. And then they serendipitously met. They didn't seek each other out. They ran into each other, fell in love again immediately. 5 kids. He's a movie producer. She does screenwrites and other writing things. And yeah, they live in a huge house in the Poconos, and that's their happily. So those are big role models of mine. So I had already planned on dumping him after high school anyway, breaking up while we did that. They were weirded out because he wanted to go to school in Atlanta and I wanted to go to school in Savannah. And I was stalking and following him by choosing that school. He never went to the school in Atlanta. He ended up going to NYU, and I live 30 minutes away from Savannah. So much for all those theories from high schoolers. Now the second person I was with, I'm still friends with that person. And that was a intense but different type of connection, for sure. We didn't date, we only fooled around a couple of times, but it was a different type of connection for sure. And I still feel strongly connected with them. More so than I do my first lover. Who I rarely even think about. Let's see, who else we got? We got the guy I worked with at McDonald's when I was 17. Now he's popped up in my life a couple of times throughout the years. Intense connection every time we contact each other. Pretty much, I just, because the communications, I've got no boundaries. Anybody who actually knows me in real life knows I got no boundaries when it comes to communication. You give me your phone number or you talk to me on Messenger or whatever. I don't expect responses immediately, but I usually respond pretty quickly to any messages that I receive. For the most part, unless I'm busy. You know what I'm saying? It's not that I'm obsessive with it. 9 times out of 10, like, I pick up my phone to switch a song or something like that and a message pops up. I just happen to be there to get it. But I'm also the kind of person that if I'm engaging in a conversation with you, I never say, okay, the conversation's done or bye or nothing. I just stop talking and then I just reappear. And then I'll send you like bunch of shit, and then it's just like, and I disappear again for a while, and then I'll wait for them to respond. You know, I don't expect people to respond to me right away, but yeah, so if I think of something, or I feel like I sense a person, or I feel like they need me, or whatever happens that catches my attention that I think that person would be interested in, I'm gonna message them. And I pretty much, anytime he contacted me, I couldn't stop messaging him. He couldn't stop answering my messages, and we would end up destroying his relationships. Eventually, though, I would like to say was the year I turned, I think it was the year that I finally left my first husband. He ended up getting with his first wife, which he must have married right after we dated when I was younger, because he was a few years older than me. Anyway, he was with her happily ever after. They're like starseeds, whatever, and they're all woo-wee spiritualists and everything else, or at least she is. And they've been super duper happy since. And you know what? Ever since he made that connection, I've been pretty good. At least on that front. But truly, who I think my twin flame is Braille. And I met Braille through a Ouija board when I was 13, 14 years old. And he told me he was my soulmate, because that's what we were looking for at the time. And they said that they had a gift in the attic for us. And we didn't get it out of the attic, because as soon as we pushed the attic door open, something came down on top of it. And like a week later, there was a crate in her living room, and her dad said that box had been on top of the attic door somehow. and had a book on poltergeists and how to protect yourself from them, and old-fashioned big Sherlock Holmes style smoking pipe. Which your dad was cool enough to let us have. Now, after that day, after I left, all kinds of crazy shit started happening in my friend's house. Things moving around, hangers banging in a room. Something happened with her dad where he screamed and passed out at one point. Some real scary stuff. We ended up having to do big saging and everything else over there to clear the house. And I picked up Braille. And always, I can see that similar spark in everybody. I don't know. I guess you could describe it as what? Definitely divine masculine energy. You know? So the divine masculine's love through their eyes, I can see it. And I can sense when he's not with them, and I can sense when he is with them. And the best I tried to describe it, it's like he's a 5D being who uses 3D beings to experience me. Now, what he does when he's not hanging out with me, that is of none of my concern. 5D beings have much different parameters than the rest of us. But that is the best way I have to describe it. And I imagine it's really similar to those who twin flames have died. Because I do know a few people who did find their twins. They were in union and their twins died, and they say they feel like they absorb their energy. They feel like their energy's still around, and they feel like they do still interact with their energy. I don't know what else to tell y'all guys on the perspective of the twin flames. Just that it's got nothing to do with romance, for real. Like, really. Like, I mean, it does, but it doesn't. The universe will find very interesting ways to communicate with you. Very interesting ways. Now, I felt like I had lost Braille. It felt like someone took it from me. And that made me angry. And then I had a Kundalini awakening. And then I had a heart center awakening. And I know that plays into all the cultish things, because we are experiencing that. And people are vulnerable when you experience things like that to these cult people. But I did go through those experiences. And that's what I was in. I was mad because I had lost Braille. And I was told that if I did everything that they told me to do, that I had kind of gone over this before. Like, say my my second husband, if I sent him to the mountains, that the timeline that he was on would shift. I could physically force that shift for him if I did it this way. And that if I did do it, I would get my best friend back. That's what they promised me. And I thought it was Braille that I would get back. Which is a weird, so yeah, I wanted my imaginary friend back. And I was pretty much prepared to do just about anything to get him back. And I did all that. He didn't come back right away. And I was really upset for a while there. I was like, I never felt more alone. I had never felt more afraid. And I do remember I was coming out from around the pond. It was at night, and I was walking my dog, and a car was slowing down. Fucking check me out while I'm walking my dogs, and all I can think about is how it is like there's no guys at my house or anything else right now, and you know how vulnerable my house is, and how I'm doing all this shit on social media, and these people have fucking figured out that the pond's right there, so if they fucking manage to find me down there, they can follow me back to my fucking house. And tears started streaming from my eyes, and I just looked up into the stars, and I was like, I've never felt so alone. And I was just like, I've never not had a person. I need a person. And I know that's such a selfish thing to say, but and a lot of women in the spiritual community own to this and attest to this. It is not easy dating a spiritual woman. A lot of us refer to our masculine counterparts as our handlers. Because when you channel these energies, you can lose your shit periodically. And it's hard to control. It's definitely much harder to control than a man would be. A man who can tap into his feminine energies, he's tapping into them. So in tapping into them, he can tap them off. Whereas a feminine who's stuck channeling these energies, you're always in the energy, and you need to take a lot of time and practice, skill, and effort to keep yourself out of it and keep yourself balanced. Because you don't always get warnings when you're going to get hit with shit. You can't always time it out. It's not something that we don't need to get into a headspace to get there. We're there all the time. I'm definitely thinking of things to say, but I'm really hesitant to say a lot of things on camera. I don't know if it's the eclipse that's got me all chatty today or what, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to share this. I keep looking away. I'm probably showing off my thyroid neck for you guys. There is so much more to this twin flame thing. And here's the only reason I even keep using the term. I really don't like the term twin flame. I like starseed, but even that doesn't quite fit it. But there are certain people who came here to do very certain things. Very certain things. And they're here to reach very certain people in a very certain group in order to do the work that's needed to be done. And the problem is people are taking advantage of that. There is so many false prophets out there. Anybody who is running a twin flame group for profit is a false prophet. They are a televangelist. They are romantic televangelists, guys. And they're feeding on the people that real twin flames came to help. They're ripping them off of all their money, making them go bankrupt, telling them to continue to stalk people, getting them arrested, telling them that the reason that their twin doesn't want them is all their fault and something they need to heal, and when they can't figure out what it is, they're killing themselves out there, literally. This is what's happening in the world. It's not right, and it's so twisted. And it's so sad. Because I read in these forums, and I understand exactly what they're going through. Does your twin flame communicate with you through music? Yeah, mine too. Does your twin flame speak to you through numbers? Yeah. Mine do. Can you feel what they're feeling when they're engaged to somebody else? When Braille's engaging with Luna or anybody else that I'm attached to? Yeah. can you experience extreme high magic with your twin flame? Yeah. Try not to be terrified of that shit if it does happen to you. At this point, though, I don't know what else to say to y'all. I think my armadillo's out over there. Maybe we'll get to see her. You gotta stay away from the toxic narrative. If you're another reader online watching these videos, stay away from the toxic narrative. You know, I mean, they've already given you guys a get out of jail free card. What, you don't like your twin flame? You've already said someone's your twin flame. Now you're gonna look stupid if you say somebody else. Just say they were a false flame. They were a false flame. Did they activate you? Did they change you? Did they get you to do your life differently? Is your life better now from having to get over them than it was before? Well, fuck yeah, they were a twin flame. One fractal frame of your divine counterpart, and there's more of them out there. You know, I don't think Braille can use everyone. I do believe you have to be of divine energy to channel twin flame divine spirit. You know, you have to already have that attachment to them. Rob definitely is a divine masculine. My second husband was as well. My first husband's a CPU. Some of you understand what I'm talking about there. You know, I don't know how else to say it. You know it when you know it. You'll see it. You'll see it. You'll see it's like even though you're falling in love with somebody new, you're still falling in love with the person you fell in love with before. I don't know how many times I've fallen in love with Braille in the course of my life. But it's been head over heels every time. It's been intense every time. There's been the telekinetic connection every time. There's been the mind-blowing sex every time. Maybe it's because I'm an Aries and I date only fire signs, but the twin flame energy and connection is not found in an outside source. It's not attached to a single person. Just be careful who you're out there listening to, because there is so many. I have seen so many different variations of the twin flame dynamic. I've seen the one people say like Celine Dion and her husband were twin flames, even though that's kind of a fucking child pedophile relationship they had. They say that they were a twin flame relationship, and when he died, she absorbs him. I've seen that with at least two other friends. One who we met after she said she had absorbed her twin, and another one who met her twin and he died shortly after. I know twins that are, I know plenty that'll never come into like physical union, and they're cool with that. Like, they're fine with that. Like, they're cool with being friends, or, you know, sometimes it's like a relative or somebody like that, or, you know, somebody you can't be with, like, you know, like your husband's whatever, or his friends or whatever. You know, somebody you can't be with, but you can still hang out with all the time. You can still have fun. It doesn't have to be about that. Sometimes your twin is like Jay and Silent Bob. Your heterosexual life partner, right? You're the same sex, but you're both straight. So, you know what I'm saying? There's so many different dynamics to it. And all I can say is if all you're concerned about in the twin flame relationship that you believe you're in is a romantic relationship, and that relationship has nothing to do with anything of any actual purpose and consequence in this world, then you're not a twin. You're not. You're just a lonely person who cannot accept rejection. And it's sad because you're blocking yourself from possibly finding that energy by drinking the Kool-Aid and joining a cult. You are powerful. Yes, you probably have some sort of psychic ability, some sort of claircognizance or clairvoyance, right? Yes, you are tapped into these energies. Yes, you could very well be a twin energy. But you've given away all your power to one person. You can have all those same gifts with anybody. Anybody you meet. What do you think mediums and tarot readers and channelers do? When I give somebody a reading, I'm tapped into your energy. Just as strongly as a twin would be tapped into your energy. That's how it works. The only difference is I know how to turn off the connection when the time comes. I don't stay attached to it, and I definitely don't stay addicted to it. I love you guys very much, and that's why I'm making this video today. You can see that sun had just finished its solar eclipse not too long ago. And, yeah. I love you guys so much. Blessed be all those who walk these weird and winding paths with me. Any questions? Drop them in the comments, y'all. You know how to reach me. Love you.